wow, he's aping me.
This is a cutthroat bracket. You want top 8. You want to be playing on Saturday here. And it starts with these two, Gamblers and Vatican, starting us off on stream. I think we're sticking with the upper bracket for the majority of the day. But there you go. Clean logos as well. I respect the logo game out of these two.
Yeah, these guys were some of the first to jump on the nice logo game, and I got to respect it. Both of them have some really, really nice imaginative designs there. And yeah, they're iconic. You know, even though the Gamblers and Vatican haven't quite made the heights that they think they probably should, they're making adjustments, and they're clearly, you know, just something as simple as having a team name, having a logo really puts you in the spotlight when you're supposed to be advertising yourself. It's a big deal. I really like it. And let's just have a moment to appreciate this beautiful graphic as well. We love the production quality over here on Ape Squad. It's one of the shining examples out there. And here we go. Let's go into the lobby, into the match. We have Monaco 3 versus 3, Gamblers versus Vatican Esports.
All right, off and away with the European qualifier as these two look to set the tone of their run very early on. With a win, you are just one match away from qualifying into the top 8. And we also do, I don't think we mentioned the fluid damage, I think is what they called it, where destruction of structures is a lot easier. And so certain structures around the map will destroy buildings a lot more with a lot more emphasis. So something to keep an eye on as well is the destruction and how these teams play around that.
Okay, I'm already seeing some incredibly interesting stuff here. We've got the BFR as well as the repeater coming out. Both both Evolution and Evolution and SpongeBob rocking these high damage weapons, looking to play from range. And I love the repeater with this sight on it. It just looks so clean. They managed to get that kill early on, but the res has come back through, so we're back into a 3 versus 3. But you can see both teams chunking each other across these rooftops, and the heal beam also in play for Kiriki. So some already really wild changes. We are now seeing the kills flow out. Kiriki and Devil's Work finding their kills. Evolution also gets that res. So it's a 3 versus 1 now. Evolution close to death, but that is Kiriki just about missing his shots. Evolution finds Folin in a 2 versus 2 situation. Now they're just cutting around this door frame. Out comes the glitch. It doesn't connect. And up comes Folin. It's such a war of attrition coming out here from both teams. And now somehow they've evaded each other. And we're back to a 2 versus 2. And it's gone quiet again.
To pick up though, as I mean, Kiriki moving around the roofs at the moment, and Gamblers do have everyone back up, whereas Devil's Work is still down. I missed where their totem landed, but not choosing to take the vault, until now, and run with it. So it seems as though Gamblers will start to move away, but looks like they are waiting for Vatican to re-enter the fold before just teleporting away and looking to get that first plant in. So we have the first fight end in a bit of a stalemate. I think Gamblers win it partially as they do get the stick and the first cash out started. But we have Vatican with nearly everyone back up, though Folin is down again. But Vatican dealing some decent damage before backing off.
Back in the 3 versus 3 again. Not been a clean wipe either way. But of course, that catch out already in favor of Gamblers. Here's a bit of fighting, a bit of action. Now SpongeBob has gone down. That's a heavy on the side of Evolution now, on the side of Gamblers rather. Another trade comes out there. Devil's Work being taken down. And as long as you've got the mediums on your side, you can always try and fight your way back into it. You can always try and get those Z-fibs off. At the moment, though, it looks like a full reset coming out for Vatican Esports. They're going to gateway above. That steal is being attempted directly, but it's a bit of a bait, and out comes the repeater at close range. How well can he brawl with this slow rate of fire weapons? Well, Folin's going to help him out with the kill there. The BFR, it looks like they're landing their shots, and that's what matters with these guns. But Vatican Esports now down to 1 player. He's managed to run away. SpongeBob, the heavy. I think this is a clean steal coming out for Gamblers, and only really one opportunity now for Vatican to reset and get the steal back.
SpongeBob being the last standing is important. It does buy them enough time to get back into this fight if they're able to get the revives up. But a nice retake there by Gamblers. And there isn't a ton of time now for Vatican to work with. This Evolution will rejoin us here in a moment. But this will have to be a quick in and out if it is attempted. Aralizi is still out, down for the count, and Gamblers have an easy time just setting up and chilling for a moment, which is not something we have seen at all, as we still haven't seen a full team wipe, but a moment of respite for us all as Evolution nearly caught there by Kiriki. still rocking that repeater quite nicely. They're going for a late steal now, looking to stick it, but can't get the steal off in time. Gamblers will secure that first cash out.
I thought I saw a charge for a second there, but no. In all this chaos, in all of the the changes and having to grapple with all these different things. Speaking of grapple, we have a grapple light in Ializi in the lobby. There's so much in flux right now, and it's a lot to take in. But no, there is no charging slam. Still no room yet for any sort of heavy variants. That's one thing that seems to have stayed quite well put in here in this lobby. We've got SpongeBob and Foden both rocking the winch as ever. But now we move over to Cash Out C, already being prepped as this gateway will afford Vatican Esports a very quick plug. Ializi needs to get back with his team, though, because currently they're engaging at 2 versus 3.
Won't be able to teleport back either. Is having to run the old-fashioned way of getting back, plus a grapple hook, so a little bit of pace there, and Gamblers won't be able to take advantage of a momentary separation, but this is the residual result of Vatican winning that last fight around the previous cash out. But SpongeBob has been picked, got caught fighting the entirety of Gamblers there, and so Evolution has to get out, and that looks like Gamblers will have the front foot forward. Now, playing around that dome shield, they have the agency in this fight, and a win could see them taking the cash out back. They're releasing is down quite low at the moment. And Evolution is fighting both Devil's Work and Folan there. Or not Folan, rather. Another player with them, but Gamblers moving towards the cash out station with that fight in hand. There's the first wipe, I believe, of this first match.
It might be. I think there might have been one just after the final of the previous cash out, which was fairly meaningless. But yes, this is a good wipe, meaningful one that Gamblers have achieved. And it gives Vatican Esports just the one attempt here. They are already a cash out down, so they need to clean up here. They need to get that wipe. They need to get that steal. Otherwise, we're going to be going straight over to map 2. I'm impressed by Devil's Work as well. We've seen him on this invis with the LH1 as suddenly reappearing in the fight here. Vatican Esports taking the direct route to the point. They're not worried about contending with this team on the rooftop, and maybe they should have been, because Kiriki has found a meaty shot there onto Evolution, his opposite number. No more medium up for the fight for Vatican Esports, so they're going to have to try and stick a long res in some semblance of safety, but I don't think they're going to find it here. That cash out is way out in the open. Mr. Bepic, I don't see them doing it, but they have managed to get that res.
They have to stick now at this point. It might be too late. There's just nothing that we're going to see Vatican Esports able to do, as Gamblers will get out of map 1 with a quick 2-0. Clean fight there at the end after Vatican had a bit of time to set up. An early pick gave Gamblers that win as they chased down the other players, and Vatican had no way back into that first game.
No, that was dominance there from Gamblers, really impressive by them. And yeah, I'm so excited, because this is exactly what we were hoping for, a real just mix up in the meta. It was starting to get quite predictable in the previous season, and now we've got invis, we've got grapple. I'm not privy to whether that was perhaps like a gentleman's agreement to avoid dash between the two teams. I know that it is permitted in this tournament, but maybe they've decided that way, or maybe they've just decided that it's worth having something different. It was worth having the invis now that we have the BFR and the repeater open. You can play this really long range poke style, and the invis works perfectly for that. Or having the grapple just to be able to maneuver around the map as a whole more quickly in sort of large bursts, as opposed to the short bursts that the jump pad, the dash gives you. So yeah, there's lots to sort of dissect. We even saw a heal beam come out.
Right.
I'm very excited, if you can't tell.
I mean, the nerfing of the H+ Infuser and the buffing of the healing, I think, was Embark's way of trying to shake up that healing meta. And I am a fan of it. I like the slight change, although it seemed like the lack of DMAT lost a little bit of movement, but playing those cash outs out in the open definitely helped Gamblers out a lot there at the end. I mean, that repeater was being used phenomenally, and a couple of early picks really swayed those fights.
Yeah, it really did. And that's the strategy when you have this kind of lineup. You want to go for picks. You play control, you get that pick, and then you dive in the 3 versus 2 and you brawl it out. So there's lots to be considered here. I had just gotten word that there is, in fact, a gentleman's agreement between the two teams in terms of avoiding that dash, which is bugged out at the moment. So yeah, it's exciting that, they didn't agree to both take different, different setups though. So that's pretty cool. We can see what happens if evasive dash is no longer part of the equation. We've actually got a bit of a mix up here between grapple hook and invis. So yeah, it's seeming relatively healthy with the lots of asterisks above it that we don't have the pike, we don't have the dash. Yeah. I don't think we need to labor on this though much longer because we're going to Bernal next, and or wait, is this a res? I've got the wrong maps. I think I've got them in the wrong order. We're going to another map next, and for Vatican Esports, they need to pick up the pace.
Yeah, it is Bernal. So perhaps fights a little bit less out in the open with a bit more buildings to play around, but that's up to where the cash outs decide to spawn for us on Bernal coming up. And I mean, recovery mission is what you need here because a loss early on sends you through a much more difficult route in the lower bracket with that pressure on your shoulders at all times of performing well. And if you drop an early map in those best of threes, then you're up against elimination. And we know that everybody here wants to be playing on Saturday in that world championship. So the pressure of a qualifier can get to you if you're not prepared. And I mean, if you're looking at a burgeoning esport like the finals, teams may not be prepared for pressure like that. And so you want to get the wins when you can get them.
Yeah, the pressure is always on, and these games are so quick that you have to be on all the time. Yep. And it's just a case, in case you're just getting here, we are in a double elimination bracket. Essentially, 2 wins gets you through, 2 losses sends you out. Really simple rules for the day, for the qualifier. And yeah, it's luck of the draw about, who you come up against in these brackets. We go with Gamblers Vatican because this is these are 2 fairly established sides that didn't make it through to the close qualifiers recently. So it's interesting to see how they're kind of coping with that. And this being a rather large part of their calendar now, Vatican Esports will need to make sure that they sort of rescue this. Otherwise, they're down in that lower bracket.
Certainly, and on Bernal, I mean, we'll see where their strengths sort of lie here, as I'm not sure of the map strengths of these two, and this is the time to be preparing maps for future competitions and tournaments that may pop up between now and whenever the next major qualification may be, since he didn't make the closed qualifier. And so as we do get into Bernal, it is that recovery mission for Vatican here. And I mean, they had a decent amount of control on Monaco. Just a couple of late fights won by the Gamblers were what's got them that first map.
It's interesting here going into Bernal. We know that this is a map that really plays well when you have those long range options. We can see SpongeBob moving over to the Lewis gun. But the opportunity to use that repeater, to use that BFR Titan, is certainly here if you want to control high ground and play like that. Engaging across the rooftops here. A nice little head glitch position here for the Lewis gun, but he's coming under a lot of pressure. Gets juiced back up by both the HL Confuser and the orb at his feet. Devil's Work finding the first kill there onto Evolution. And this push from Vatican Esports, they just don't have enough cover, but they've baited them in, and Ileezy managed to close down Folin, but Kiriki picks up the kill on SpongeBob, and surely it's just a matter of moments now. Ileezy is scrambling, and of all the operators, or rather contestants, my R6 backing just showing there for a second to have. You want the grapple light to be able to escape those situations, but he just couldn't find a route out.
And that repeater, even close range, is looking effective for Kiriki right now. And so we're seeing it once again working out for the Gamblers as they win the opening fight now on Bernal, and maybe get that first say on how they set up around the cash out. But with that respawn, okay, they have made it up to A and have the high ground advantage, probably the biggest high ground advantage you could ask for on Bernal with where the cash out decided to spawn.
This is one of those cash outs that you just hope doesn't appear if your opponents are grabbing it and running towards it, because this is such a difficult position to even begin to steal from. You've got to hope it gets brought down in the chaos, or maybe grab some red canisters and make it a little bit easier. Obviously, they're going to be targeting their opponents, clear out the enemies and make the steal as easy as possible. See this long-range engagement happening with the LH1 set up on a really nice perch. We have the Heavy just positioned a little bit further within winch range. This is an excellent formation that Gamblers have achieved.
It is so difficult to break in and even get access to the cash out, though it has been dropped from the chapel steeple, and they're setting up a little bit of utility around it, but with that poison popping, Aralizi won't be able to stick a steal or anything like that, but they have baited out that defensive utility, though Gamblers still hold this high ground position. There is no taking it from them, and there is a big pick that can change things. H+ Infuser will heal up, fallen for a moment. It did end up falling, but they get the defib in, healing them up as well, and for Evolution, this is a near impossible situation, with Kiriki especially hitting a couple of fadeaway repeater shots to secure this first catch out.
Yeah, this is not a team that you want to be hanging out in midair against, right? The BFR Titan was the one that claimed all of those kills, actually, so really impressive stuff from Folin in particular, but you've got to credit Kiriki. He was landing those repeater shots, contributing quite heavily to that hold, and this is really just an ideal perch, an ideal position for them to defend with this loadout. I'm really intrigued to see if more teams go in this direction, because it is a huge opening now that the Heavy has a long-range option that can really compete with the likes of the Pike, with the likes of the LH1. This is something you could build around, and I've been saying it, you know, behind the scenes. I've had a lot of skeptical voices, but we'll see what the bigger teams turn to. This is certainly an endorsement of that playstyle, though, from the Gamblers.
And the double healing as well with the healing beam and the H+ Infuser. The Gamblers are playing around each other quite nicely, and they have an ability to extend fights with the healing utility, but Devilwork has been tagged early on as Vatican will find Gamblers in the middle of the map. We're not fighting over an objective right now. With that vault spawned about 80 meters away from the fight, we are getting an engagement in the center of Bernal, and once again, it's Kireki with that repeater in hand doing damage. Another kill found, and they're trying to make it a triple. Aralizi will try to get away from the scope of the repeater, but in a 1v1, it's not easy to do. Defib found, and final kill inflicted. That's another wipe for the Gamblers.
And I think in that fight, we really got to see the value of the heal beam, right? Evolution still running the DMAT in its nerfed state. There's definitely merit to it, but we're watching a game play out where a lot of it is being decided on these rooftops, and having access to not just one, but two sources of healing in your team is absolutely huge. Vatican Esports actually got the first pick during that game, during that fight, or nearly the first pick, but they were able to heal back up the Gamblers and then turn that against Vatican. So I really do think heal beam is the way to go if you're playing this style, and we can see it in action as this next fight over the vault will begin. Folin being dropped down, and we can see that heal beam has to come out, and this is where the brawling comes out from Vatican Esports. Can they turn it around? They're chasing them down. It seems like these are the types of fights that they are set up to win.
Devilswork has been able to toss the cash box away, and that first couple of picks, actually, Folin has fallen as well, and Kiriki down to that repeater, and it's all of its damage that has been inflicted upon Vatican will fall as well. So Devilswork on his lonesome for the time being, and that'll be a plant for Vatican Esports. They can set up around this cash out now, but that's an important fight one. Could extend us further than just 2 cash outs on 2 maps.
Yeah, Kiriki now back up. Vatican Esports, of course, they have to try and control this defense, which is harder to do. They saw some success lurking in the shadows, avoiding these long-range fights. Gamblers now in their home territory, really. With these range shots, Kiriki with the repeater finds that opening onto Ializi. There is still a medium up. Evolution will get the defib onto Ializi, presumably. There it is. So back up to 3 versus 3, but now they decide to close that gap. With those resources spent, in they go. Lots of health being chunked out. A trade in both directions. 2 versus 2 now, but the heal beam, it's still up and in play for the Gamblers. Ooh. They chase him down. Kiriki finds yet another onto Evolution, but SpongeBob finds Folin. It's now SpongeBob with 1 HP, defending his cash out, and he's found the totem to res. Kiriki has brought up Devil's Work. We're back to 2 versus 2, Bepic, but just as I say that, they re-engage. The chaos doesn't end.
Oh, SpongeBob heals up as well, and Devil's Work is taken out with a nice RPG to the face. That one hurts, I'm sure, though. If there is a player on Gamblers that can turn a 1v2, it's Kiriki right now with that repeater at about a quarter health. Just 2 bars left, and a narrow miss on the pick will keep this fight going, as now players are back in. A couple of coins used, but the time is ticking away. Vatican Esports have that cash out almost 3/4 of the way done, but now we're back to a 2v2 even-ish with Kiriki still very low.
Wow, Kiriki was playing a horror game there, being chased down on 1 HP, just about kept himself alive, and now they can re-engage with the 3 versus 3. This is what they spent their coins for, back in the action, but that timer is firmly in Vatican Esports' favour. iLeezy still up, Evolution still up. They try and force a steal, but iLeezy picks up 2 in the LH1. Only Devil's Work left. He's taken down a triple kill for the light on the side of Vatican Esports. They are finally woken up and back in this game.
Well, this has to be the turning point for Vatican Esports now, as their backs were against the wall after Gamblers took that early 2-0 and then got the nice chapel steeple position to get the first cash out in Bernal. So Vatican, they managed to win a drawn-out fight, and honestly, SpongeBob surviving with that half bar and sticking a revive in a very narrow position with, I believe, Kiriki still alive at the time, was massive to get that fight back to a 2v1.
That moment really does stick out in the memory. that long 2-minute engagement, that really felt like the moment the Vatican Esports just clung on to survive. But that was a real test of their mettle in comparison to how Gamblers seemingly walked away with all their previous 3 cash outs. So it's going to take more of that kind of strength from Vatican to undo Gamblers, who are still playing very well, it has to be said. They've got this jump pad prep and the invis light of Devil's Work just waiting to find an opening, but then he sends that glitch to assist his team. They both dive in. Lots of damage taken by Vatican. They are juiced back up very quickly. In that regen, they'll re-engage here through that gateway, but they are very exposed as they do so, losing a lot of HP. Down goes Devil's Work as a result. 2 versus 3 in favor of Vatican Esports. They're chasing them down. Kiriki may be the next one to go. He gets a kill for his trouble, but now it's only a 1 versus 2 phone-in up against both of them. They hit that res as well. Surely there's no chance. Evolution cleans it up. Vatican Esports, they're surging with newfound confidence.
That's big. That BFG as well, missing a lot of the targets that it had to hit there, even in a 1v2 momentarily. Still, a lot to deal with for Gamblers. They did get the toss away of the cash box, but quickly retrieved by Vatican, and Gamblers spawning here in a moment. They won't be able to contest this as they spawn over towards C. We're planting D here more than likely, and so Vatican should have a little bit of time to set up.
Nice bit of movement there, schmoothing into the cash out there with iLeezy. I love seeing grapple lights. I'm a massive grapple pilled light player, so it's exciting to watch someone else do it that's much better than me. Evolution lands a bit of a chunk onto the opposing light, but he's immediately healed back up, as is Kiriki's modus operandi now with that heal beam. Nice position held at the moment. That glitch, or rather the gateway is up. They glitch the defensive position, but don't capitalize on it. Here's that jump. Can they land the shot? No, a couple of glitch ones from the LH1. Colin really using his health bar as a resource. In the meantime, Devil's Work comes in and cleans up 2. iLeezy now left with a bit of an unenviable position. He's alone trying to defend this cash out. It is being stolen. It will get flipped. He just needs to get out of there and let his team coin in. And I think Gamblers are more than happy to let him do that and set up for the 3 versus 3. Actually, no, Devil's Work is on the hunt.
Chasing him down, and they found him as well, and at least he gets tagged from far away. Kiriki's still landing shots, even from still that cash-out position, but looks like the chase has been given up as Vatican will be able to coin and get back in for what could be one last fight. Gamblers are trying to close out a 2-0, and I love the smoke and mirrors play of Folan jumping up into the sky, distracting the barrels of Vatican. Meanwhile, Kiriki flanks and catches them from a position unknown prior to the fights. So Gamblers, with their cheeky play, will give themselves a position to win as Vatican moves back in.
Good first shot there coming out from Kiriki. Can he follow up on it? Finds another 2. Evolution taken out. That's a medium down. A huge pick onto Vatican Esports, whose hopes are dwindling. And down they all go. It's a quick wipe. A 3-piece. Everybody on Gamblers contributing to that team wipe. The LH1, the BFG, and the repeater really showing up here. Gamblers will progress to the upper quarterfinals.
Not a bad comp to flex your ability to point and click with for Gamblers. That was impressive. Kiriki was definitely a standout player, but overall, I mean, Gamblers in the majority of team fights just dealt so much damage with their ability to hit their shots. And poor Vatican, they won a couple of critical, drawn-out fights to extend Bernal a little bit right there, but at the end of the day, Gamblers, led by Kiriki, 10 elims, 8 assists across that second map. recap. We'll get into round 2 of uppers.
And look at the support value as well. 4K and 3K between the medium and the light here. That's a lot of healing being put out. So they're taking the shots and they're also dealing with whatever shots come their way as well. It's a really impressive setup. You know, it dwarfs the support score that we're seeing on the side of Vatican Esports by comparison.